Mystic gems. 50k PR is possible, and to answer your guys' question, so far we cannot get Mystic gear out of the gear crafter boxes. We used to be able to when we accidentally got to it, and then they removed it from the boxes because of the bugged dragon pretty much. I don't know if they're going to change it, but as of right now, we cannot get Mystic gear from it. And from the looks of it, the values of getting Crystal 5 from it doesn't seem like it's that good. It seems okay, maybe a tiny bit better, but for the most part, it's not that good. And speaking of nothing good, Mystic gems. We're going to get into the leveling and all that stuff. So quick thing, we got the boxes. I mentioned in my last video that I wasn't able to get the prime boxes. Well, you can get the prime boxes. So pretty much you pick an elemental world, and on top of the elemental gem box that it gives you the D14 version as well. So for fire gems, for example, I already opened them on stream, but actually here's an example. So you would get one D15 water gem box and one D14 water gem box. Sometimes it gives you 2 depending on what you do. Like on stream, I was able to get 2 just from a dungeon, so it seems kind of random. It is kind of handy that you're getting both of these. And then on top of that, the regular gem box, which I wasn't sure if I actually got that from this long shade or if it just came randomly from just doing a bunch of dungeons. So now that we got that out of the way, we can open these for pretty much a common chance of getting a crystal gem, as we see over here, an uncommon chance of getting a mystic gem, and then everything else is pretty much the same. So I'll just open up a few. As you can see, they're just all crystal. It's pretty common to get them, nothing too fancy. Over here we get the water gem spark. There's a chance I can get a mystic from it, but doesn't look like I got it. And you know, nothing different. You would level these up the same, and I will get into the leveling system in just a bit. But one thing I quickly noticed is that the powering scaling is really weird from crystal to mystic. Like, it is really weird. So here we have an arcane gem that's pretty bad, 43%, level 15, so 1475 powering. And I guess it's possible for these crystal gems to have higher powering than your mystic gems, which doesn't really make sense. So that's where the powering scaling just feels really weird. So level 15 for this gem, 1389. Like, okay, let's just take this to a gem forge. I hope they change the powering and the stats to go with it, because it just seems really low. Like, I understand that this is a awful gem. This is terrible. 1389. I mean, this one's no better, 1436, and this one's hardly even that much more powering, 1485, all at level 15. Meanwhile, this gem is at 1475. These two stats are terrible. This one's pretty good, but as you can see, it's just really weird that crystal can catch up to mystic like that. And the reason why these don't have the percentage values is because the mod is going to be a work in progress. And you guys get the point. It's just really weird. You can level these up to 15. Leveling up the mystic gems is the exact same as leveling up crystal. You're going to do the exact same thing. So if we go to the loot collector, for example, we can go to a level 15 gems. We'll loot collect into the 2 sparks. And for some reason, the mystic gem also loot collects into 2 sparks. And that's just how it goes, I guess. I don't know why mystic doesn't give more, but that's where we're at right now. And then a level 25 gem, I can just showcase that that's level 25. So 2127, right over here, Mystic. I don't know why it shows in yellow text. They should change the text color. For some reason, it's showing the stellar colors. So 2127, this is the same amount that you would get with a crystal gem. So like I said, nothing different at all. Everything's the exact same. The tricky thing though is when you get to the leveling up portion. So let's just take my empowered gem over here, for example. So as you can see, this mystic empowered gem is going to require 1 mystic gem shard, not a primal, but a mystic gem shard. Whereas the crystal is going to require a primal gem shard. So if you're leveling up mystic, these things are pretty much useless then. Primal gem shards, you don't even need these anymore. You're just going to go straight to the mystic gem shards. And if you are leveling up crystal gems, then you will need these. And from level 30 onwards, you're going to need 1 mystic gem shard. So here's what we got going on right now. 1 mystic gem shard, you're going to need 5 for each gem. So that's going to be 12 gems total. So assuming you're leveling these gems up from 30 to 35, one class is going to need 60 of these mystic gem shards. And as you can see, the cost increases for the sparks that you need as well from level 30 to 35. And on top of that, that's assuming it doesn't fail your 9th life. And you might be wondering, well, when do we use our 9th lives? Well, here's the thing. If you're leveling up a crystal gem, you're going to get it from 28 to 30 with 2 9th lives. Assuming you have the resources, you end up getting this mystic gem converter, which I'll get into in just a second as well. You use that to convert your gem to mystic. No stat changes happen, by the way, so we can just do a little bit of a comparison. 2550 powering for this mystic, and 2550 for this crystal over here. And like I said, mystic gems are just weird. The light increased along with the other stats, but the powering just for whatever reason just didn't increase. And you might be wondering, well, how much powering extra do we get? How much extra light do we get? Well, I'll put up a screenshot on the screen right now so you guys can check out all of that. So in terms of just the powering, it's going to be a 582 powering increase for the empowered gems. And since we have 4 of them, you multiply that by 4. and it's going to be 2,328. So that's how much extra power rank you're getting. And for the lessers, it's going to be 273, and you multiply that by 8 since we have that many lessers. So it's going to be 2,184. So the amount of extra power rank that we're getting is 4,512 for your gems. So just off the information alone right now, this is pretty bad because let's just take, for example, I don't know, a lot of you guys probably have crystals already. Maybe you're considering, hey, should I use a crystal gem converter? Well, at the moment, we don't have any in the store, and from what I've been told, I'm pretty sure it's just going to be for credits. It's going to be a pay-to-win method. I don't think they're going to add it for qubits, at least not right now, not at the time of me recording this. And again, all of these values can change in the future. This is just what it is right now. So no converter right now in the store. The only converter we have is this one over here, this Mystic Gem Converter. Now, I hear a lot of people saying that this isn't that bad. Well, 200 Soul Adepts for one. We have 12 different gems over here to upgrade if we're going down that route. So we take the 200, we multiply that by 12, and that's going to be 2,400 for one class. And that's just getting the crystal to mystic, assuming you have it maxed out to begin with. Then for all 18 classes, it's going to be 43,200. So that is going to be a lot of souls if you plan on maxing every class. And on top of that, we have the gear. The gear alone for every class is going to be 90,000-ish. And for one class, it's going to be about 5,000 Soul Adepts. The Soul Adepts are a pretty big issue. They're untradeable. I guess I'll make a separate video on a guide of farming these things, but they're pretty slow. Oh, and did I mention that nothing loot collects into Soul Adepts? Now, if you guys think that this is okay, I mean, I don't really know what to say. The numbers speak for themselves. Like, this is gonna be a ton of farming, which I'm not against. Farming is fine, but the farming needs to be kept to a reasonable amount. It shouldn't have to take us years upon years, especially for casual players, to max out every single class. The way the game is set up, pretty much you're only allowed to max one class, and that alone will take you a lot of grinding. If you're unemployed and play a ton of Trove, I guess it won't be too much of an issue for you because you can just straight up grind it. But either way, it's gonna be a lot. It's gonna take a lot of time. And with all this, we kind of get to the point, is it worth using these Mystic Gem Converters on our classes? Well, in my opinion, I would say for one class, I'd say go for it. Maybe two max. So as an example, as of right now, I'm just considering doing two classes. So Boom Ranger for damage and Shadow Hunter for farming. And those Mystic Gem Converters, I'm gonna use it for the Empowered Gems. So it's gonna be 8 total since 4 Empowered Gems on each class. So 8 total. Still gonna be a lot of Soul Adepts. And on top of that, the Mystic Gem Shards. So let's go straight into that. It's gonna be over here. We need 20 of each elemental type. So that means to craft one of these, you're gonna have to farm 200 sparks. And 200 sparks is gonna be 6 million gem dust of each elemental type. And that's just gonna get you one of this Mystic Gem Converter. So if I were to do it for my 2 classes, which is gonna be 8 total, 48 million gem dust, and that's for each elemental type. So that's gonna take a lot of time. So hopefully these numbers are just placeholder numbers and they're gonna adjust these values because that's gonna be a lot of farming. Now you could make the argument that we get crystal gems pretty often, so you know, it's fine. We can get a lot of sparks either way. And I don't really have too much of an issue with the sparks. That's not really that much of an issue. The flux is gonna be kind of an issue, which we'll get into later. But me personally, I have an issue with the Mystic Gem Converters and the 9th lives, because for someone like myself, I want to max out all of these classes. Like, yeah, maxing out 2 classes would be cool, but that's kind of what I've done for the Mystic gear. And even with the gear alone, I've only maxed out my Boom Ranger, so it is gonna take a lot of time, and I guess I just don't have the time for it. I have to work. I have to do other IRL stuff, so I can't do it. But that's not to say I'm gonna give up. Obviously I'm gonna keep farming. I'm gonna get there, and I will pass Squeeze at some point. I don't know when, I don't know how, but it will happen. No, I'm just kidding. I can't do that to Squeeze. He can keep his #1 spot. I just want to pass him for a little bit. But anyway, that's a me issue. I'm hearing a lot of mixed things about these converters and these gem shards, so please let me know in the comments down below what you think about them. As for the Mystic Gem Shards, you know, it's whatever. I can get by it. We get a ton of sparks anyway. We're gonna get a ton of crystal gems from the new boxes, that is. So getting sparks shouldn't be that bad. It's just gonna be the sparks on top of the souls. So that is gonna be pretty rough. And speaking of rough, let's get into the other rough part. Let's just get back into the Mystic Gem Shards. So let's just focus on one gem spark so it's not too confusing. So let's just take Fire Gem. We need 20 to make one of these. We'll just pretend that we have the other resources. So 20 for one. And for leveling your gems, you need one of these shards to level up your gems. So from 30 to 35 it's going to take 1 only for all of it. So we'll take the 5, we'll multiply that by 12 to get 60. So we need 60 total of these, assuming our 9th lives do not fail. So 5 mystic gem shards, multiply that by 12, which is going to be the 12 gems over here. And then for the sparks, we multiply that by 20. So we're using the fire gem, for example. So 60 times the 20 is going to be 1200 gem sparks. So 1200 is just going to be for the shards for getting these from levels 30 to 35. And if you started fresh on a mystic gem, the one difference between the mystic gem is that if you got it to level 28, so that's going to be the 9th life section, where the same thing with crystal. For crystal, you would take it from 28 to 30. Mystic gems, you would take it from 28 to 35. You would use 9th lives to not waste resources, but it would mean that you would need an additional 2 of these shards. So you'd need one at level 28 and at 29. And then same thing from 30 to 35. So 7 total, and that's going to be for each elemental type. I'm not going to count that, but let's just say you decided to farm up all of these crystal gem converters. You converted all of your stuff to mystic, and you just need to focus on the mystic gem shards. It's going to be 1200 for one class, and that's for one spark. So the fire gem sparks, for example, you'll need that for all the elemental types. And if you want to max out all the classes, multiply that by 18, and that is going to be 21,600 gem sparks, assuming none of them fail with the 9th lives. But on top of that, as you can see here, from level 30 to 35, I need 35 of these gem sparks, and it just keeps on increasing all the way through, all the way to 35. So these are going to stay the same up until 35. I don't know the exact amount, but I can just show you guys kinda. So if I level this up once, jumps up to 40. If I remember correctly, it went up 5 each time. I could be wrong on that, but I'll have to rewatch my footage on my live stream, which I went over all of this on. But either way, that's a lot of math and pain. Just know that you're going to need a lot of that stuff. So as far as going for these mystic gem converters or just going for new sets, like I said, I would use these for your main classes, and then I guess from there, personally, I would just wait, since you're gonna need a lot of 9th lives anyway. I would just wait. Maybe you can save up enough flux to get credit pouches or something to get these from the store, which I'm assuming they will have a store pack for this, or something similar to this crystal gem converter. But so far they haven't said anything about qubits, so I don't know if it's going to cost qubits or just credits, but I guess that will be a option. But I guess as time goes, I will let you guys know. But me personally, I'm just going to max out 2 classes and I'm just going to wait. Not going to spend all these soul adepts because I also want to finish maxing out my gear. And if you guys are unsure whether or not to go for the gear or the gem, I would say to at least get your gear to level 2 on each of them before they get too expensive. So 2 on each, and then you can work on your cosmic gems. And realistically, you can do both at the same time, assuming you're not getting the mystic gem converter. But the mystic gem converter is just going to cost you the souls. You can still work on grinding the sparks, so there's always that. And while we're on that topic, just a quick thing with this mod. If you have the auto easy happy mod that looks like this, if you're on console, you won't really have to worry about this. But on PC, if you have this mod, just know that if you're going to upgrade your gem like this, so crystal, let's just say we want to tier up. If I click this button, I'm gonna crash, which I'm not gonna press right now. But if I press it, I will crash. You have to disable the mod for now in order for you to just do the crystal gem converter part. Everything else works fine, I guess. It's literally just this. So we'll have to wait until an update rolls around for this mod, or we might have to use a different mod entirely. But just wanted to inform you guys about that. Also about the vacuum real quick. It has been said that the vacuum should be fixed whenever this goes to live servers. So maybe about 3 weeks, 4 weeks, something like that, give or take. But hopefully everything makes sense. Just so far, some overall complaints on my end, and maybe some of you guys have some complaints, and maybe some of you guys just don't care at all. This is just like a good update for you guys. Whatever the case ends up being, I'm just here to inform you guys about what's going down. So as far as the gems go, if you want to save flux, I would level them up to 15. If you don't care about losing a bunch of flux, then you can go ahead and take them to 25. It's just going to be plus or minus 2 sparks. So level 25 gem and level 15 gem. So like I said, if you want to save flux, only level your crystal and mystic gems to 15. If you don't care, then take them to 25. Just know that the price is the same for crystal and mystic for whatever reason. And for some reason, whenever I take off my max level gem here, 35, if I put it in the loot collector, it does not show up. And you could say it's a mod thing. Well, it's not. I can promise you that. I can turn it off. If we use no mod here, shoutouts to Osu, we can look for it and it's just not here. And I can promise you it's literally right there. 35 just doesn't show up. I guess it just doesn't count as a gem or something. it's nowhere to be seen. So I guess there's nothing I can do about that. And I have heard that it gives no sparks for some reason at level 35, so that also needs to be fixed. So for other people, I guess it can appear. For me, it just doesn't appear. I'm just gonna put that back on. So far, a huge mess with the numbers and just the gems and everything. So on stream, I had a bit of help calculating the amount of flux that you would spend in order to get all of these sparks necessary for one class. So on one character, a crystal gem to 25, if you're doing that all the way through, leveling them to 25, one class is going to cost you about 30 million flux, and for all 18, it's going to cost you about 552 million. And that's assuming everything goes smoothly with your 9th lives. Now, if you're leveling up your stuff to 15, it's going to be 24 mil flux, and for all 18 classes, it's going to be 435 million flux. So give or take, this is just an approximate value because I don't know if you're doing these on Wednesdays, I don't know if you have Patreon, there's a few factors to go through, and I don't know if your 9th lives are going to work. So in case your gem doesn't level up, then the flux is going to differ. And when I say 9th lives, I'm talking about like after level 30. So yeah, that's what we got going on with the gems. And in case you guys are wondering, so crystal clash gems, for example, you could get from D11 or D12. I have confirmed that you can get a 3-star mystic from D11 and D12. On stream, it took me about 11 tries in D11 and then about 5 tries in D12. You guys might have different RNGs for this, but that's what ended up happening with me, so I can confirm that you can get them from here. And I'm sure you guys already saw, but I'm at 13.3k light. My 2 cosmics over here are max, it's just the lesser one, so I'm pretty much just missing 47 lights, which is pretty sad to think about from those 4 levels. So just add 47 to this, and I guess that's our max light because I have the rune, I have the 400 light ally. I guess I can go for the 450, but it's not worth it. And then all of my gear is maxed. So yeah, that's pretty much that. I would go into damage numbers, but I want to get to that in a different video. For now, we're talking about gems. So that's pretty much everything I did want to talk about. I will also go over 9th lives real quick. So assuming your 9th lives do not fail, use them from 30 to 35. It is going to be 60 9th lives for all of them. And I guess you could not use the 9th lives, but just know that you're going to have to go for extra mystic gem shards. So a lot more sparks. So if you do have extras, I guess, lying around and you want to waste them, then I guess don't use your 9th lives. I have heard horror stories of people going from 30 to 35 and they've had their 9th lives fail. For me, it worked instantly. So I don't know, I guess people have different RNGs there, but it's gonna be 60 for one class assuming you're at 30, and it's gonna be 84 assuming you're going from 28 to 35, and that's for one class. And worst case scenario, or not completely worst case, but pretty much if you were using 7 9th lives per gem, it's gonna be 84 times the 18 classes, and that's gonna be 1512 9th lives, and that's assuming everything goes smoothly with your 9th lives. So overall, everything seems like a mess. This is just terrible. If you guys do want to prepare, just do your contests, honestly. Just get your Bound Brilliance, get your gem augmenting materials, get your gem boosters, everything like that, augmenting materials. Like, man, this is gonna be a wild journey. I hope that the numbers get readjusted. I want to hear what you guys have to think. I'm pretty sure I covered everything, and I guess you guys already know, but just gonna show it again. Level 29 crystal gem still requires the primal gem shard. Level 28 mystic empowered gem, it's pretty much gonna be the same thing. Only difference is extra sparks, but you'll need the mystic gem converter. So like I said, these things are gonna be kind of useless at some point. This could be a hot take, maybe not so much of a hot take, but these empowered gem boxes need to get reworked. Something needs to get reworked. Like when Stellar was maxed, like sure, it was fine getting Radiance and Stellars because it, it just made sense with the game. You can't have perfect RNG. You gotta get that right RNG to get that 3-star Stellar. Then they added crystals. Then we had to be like, okay, well now we can use our converters and try to hope that we get a 3-star. And then I guess if we get a Stellar, we use this converter. And then I guess since we have Mystic, we use the converter again. Why are we using a converter for the converter? I think it's just a little bit too much. So these gems, maybe just contests in general just need a buff. Like it's cool that we're getting these, but I feel like we need something a little bit more with the contests. Because now I think we're at the point where these empowered gem boxes just need to get buffed. Something needs to happen with them. And in general, like more contests, more rewards, more something. Because in my opinion, this is going to be just as bad as the Mystic Gear update. I can see more people quitting. And if you're going to be a returning player, everything you've done is just going to be useless because you're going to have to redo your gems pretty much. And if you do want to continue your gems, then good luck. You're going to have to go in here and work on farming soul adepts. 2400 soul adepts to convert all of your stuff. And that is going to be for one class. And it does take a bit of time to farm them, like I've mentioned before. But the more I think about this, the more I'm going to ramble. the more pain it's going to cause. And I'm sure it's already causing you guys pain thinking about all this. And I can already tell that people are just like 50-50 about like everything pretty much. Like some people are okay with some things, some people are not okay with other things. But, like we got to find some kind of common ground with this because it's kind of ridiculous. And I guess one final thing I'll note is that they still have not added a D15 topside. Hopefully they do that soon, so I guess we can actually farm these. But for now, you can farm in any of these elemental worlds. At the moment, this is on PTS. If you are on PC, you can do /exports accounts. I'll leave this in the description as well. So do that from the live servers, wait like 5-10 minutes, maybe even upwards of 20 minutes. If it still doesn't work, if it's giving you errors and stuff like that, then redo the export and then wait like 5 to 10 minutes. Then it should put you in. It'll probably be like 3 weeks or so until this goes to live servers, if I had to guess. I'm pretty sure they mentioned something like that. 3 to 4 weeks. Oh, and did I mention that nothing loots into Soul Adepts? Not the gear and not the gems. So it's kind of a GG's. Also, I'm not sure how many of you guys made it to the end of this video, but if you have an account made on the live servers, you can have it go on PTS, and once everything goes to live servers, so this entire update, you will get patron for 1 week. So if that interests you, then hop on the PTS. And if you're on console, I do apologize, but it's not me. I didn't do this. And on that note, I'm going to leave some handy links in the description down below. So if you guys want to refer to that, if you want to see stuff with the gems. But either way, hopefully you guys have enjoyed. Drop a like, subscribe if you're new to the channel, or if you find yourself coming back. And I'll talk to you guys later.